Hey, Adam Evans here with the Solar Truth. I'm also one of the owners of Rock Fitness Climbing Gym, and we've been impacted heavily by the COVID pandemic. And I want to do this video to explain the tier system, the color system. A lot of people are really confused by it, trying to figure it out and how this is going to play out long term with businesses that are shut down, and just people's mindset in general, not doing much and being told to stay home and for the unforeseeable future. So, my climbing gym closed. I kind of closed for the first few months, and then the second shutdown. I read the notice, and it allowed outdoor operation, and also day and summer camps. Were allowed to be open and operational for the most part. So that was kind of my argument. It's like we only have one solid wall, like the Newsom's guidelines stated, and it's also more of a day summer camp activity versus like youth sport, which is what they were trying to say. Riverside County, regardless, filed a 200-page declaration. A bunch of different stuff here. This one's 88 pages long. 4 or 5 people wrote a lot of the stuff, like Riverside County's attorneys, and it's a lot of copy and pasted kind of gibberish. A lot of it's based on old data from South Korea in February with COVID. So it just doesn't apply, and it just really made no sense. So I have remained open since, and still like hurting with customers and people getting back to doing things. So I wanted to go over the tier system, but thanks to Riverside County supervisors, all those charges were dropped 4 hours after they were submitted. So we didn't have this ex parte emergency hearing, the next morning after talking to me for a couple months, which doesn't really sound like an emergency. And all the numbers had been going down over those couple months as well. So the tiered system, right now, as you can see, we're in purple. Pretty much everywhere in California, 95% of people in California are in this purple tier system. And to look at this, so basically more than 7 out of 100,000 people tested positive per day on average, and shut down in the purple tier. And then, other tiers if it's lower than that. Or more than 8% positive test results. So one thing, counties are trying to do is have, hopefully few people, less than 7 tested per 100,000. And then a lot of people actually get tested so they can be also below this 8% threshold. So what happens is they keep changing this, but November 16th they updated that they are going to kind of live update instead of just every Tuesday. They're going to look at these results, pretty much daily and update it. And you need to be 1 week in that on that level, and then it'll keep changing. So it's like a bit more fluid now. It was like 2 to 3 weeks, and it was only every Tuesday. The numbers were coming out, and they could move up and down in tiers. So what I'm going to show you is that from what I'm seeing, all the counties are going to probably move into the purple tier. I mean, a lot of these counties don't have very many people in them and stuff, but they'll probably still move into purple tier. And all of California will stay in the purple tier, maybe fluctuate a little bit, purple, red, but pretty much stay in the purple tier forever, throughout the rest of human history. So, what we know is that when this whole started, basically all of the projections were this will infect half of the globe, half of the world. Is gonna get this. It's another virus like the flu, and it's gonna spread, and half the world is gonna end up getting this. So a lot of different studies on that. More than 70% of the world. The CBS was reporting here with this report, and then New York City. By September, they were saying 50% of people will have contracted it. And of course, this isn't dying. This isn't even going to the hospital. This is just, a lot of people are asymptomatic, but this is still a 50% to 70% infectious rate. Because of this widespread infectious rate, the studies were also saying that, physical distancing, face masks, stuff like that, precautions will probably go for a couple years. this is initially death rates were a bit higher at the beginning too, and they were also kind of like inflated. So now we're getting a lot better numbers. I'm doing this video. It's the middle of November here, and we have more results on what the death rate is. So the seasonal regular flu kills about 1.1% of people who become infected on average. So at first, the coronavirus kind of looked like more like 2 to 3%, like the Spanish flu, the 1918 flu, which was really bad. That was around 2%. It says there. So coronavirus though, where are we at now? Well, here's covid19.ca.gov. This is kind of the main thing for California, and the same website that has our nice tiered system and this colored chart and stuff. So it's interesting that they don't say the death rates on this actual percentages. So maybe I think it's probably to make it kind of seem worse than it is, and people be more freaked out, which yes, could help them not doing anything, and you could argue that will help slow the spread or stop it. But if we look at this, 18,360 divided by 1,047,789, we have a 0.017 death rate. 1.7%, if you just look at those numbers. The problem with that is there's so many more people that haven't got tested that are asymptomatic and stuff. So a new WHO study that just came out last month, October 14th, they did a much more in-depth study of the actual infection fatality rate, and the corrected value for it was 0.23%. So basically, we're looking at about twice as much as the regular seasonal flu, about twice as deadly. It does seem to be a bit more infectious, so we do need to be cautious and not overload the hospitals and stuff like that. The World Health Organization has quite a bit numbers on the confirmed cases and deaths. Again, there's a lot of just asymptomatic people, so it's going to take longer to get the actual fatality rates from people that have had it to get those numbers. But that's what this WHO study does. So the deaths in Riverside County, that's where I am. We've been going down. The trend has been really good for the last few months. Since about August was kind of our peak in the summer there. Flu season is kind of here now, so we'll see. But it's been 0 to 10 or so deaths per day lately. And purple tier, worse. So people, when people see the purple tier and they see these colors, they automatically assume that things are just crazy and rampant and everybody's dying, and it's just we need to do something very serious. So, but when you actually look at what's happening, it's improving pretty well, and it is going to spread. It is a virus. That's just you can't really stop a virus. And if you just keep everybody in their house, okay, and with I don't know, there's just no, you can't live that way. And throughout history, we've always just isolated healthy or sick people and protected high risk classes and stuff. So maybe that's what we should still be doing. So Riverside, now we're above that 8% positivity rate, and it's above 7 per day. So 7 per day, that number is just pretty crazy. And the positivity rate makes no sense either, because where I'm at in Riverside County, nobody cares anymore. I mean, most people are just kind of living their lives normally, except that they can't do a lot of stuff because it's shut down. But 338 people in hospitals. This is there's 38 hospitals in Riverside County from what I was kind of looking at. So that's like eight or 9 people per hospital, and then 81 in the ICU. That's a couple people in the ICUs. ICUs are pretty small. There's not a whole lot of beds there. So I know if it does get worse, with ICU limitations, they're going to add more beds in ICUs and convert that and stuff, kind of like they did in New York. Uh, but the spread itself, we're getting that's herd immunity. You know, people, there's a lot of asymptomatic, a lot of people aren't affected, and uh, this is developing toward herd immunity. So I made a spreadsheet on kind of what's going on and what it looks like over the next few years possibly. So Riverside County, the population is about 2.4 million. So I just, I don't know the growth rate really. So I just kept that the same. That's fine. Uh, 50%. So if we get up to 50% infected, that would be about 250,000 people a year for the next 5 years would get us to 50%. Now our current cases around like 20 a day. That's 183,000 a year. Of course, the daily number kind of fluctuates a lot, so this is a pretty rough estimate. And next year, we're probably going to still see just gradual increases as it spreads and herd immunity and stuff. So maybe 300,000, and then antivirus, the vaccine comes around and it goes down. So these are very hypothetical numbers, but that gets us to 858,000, not the 50%. So maybe those numbers would even be more. But what gets us out of the purple tier? 168 cases per day, because if you have 7 per 100,000, you have 24 100,000 gets us to 2.4 million. So basically 24 times 7 is 168. So that number is kind of crazy. It's just super low. It's not actually allowing for herd immunity and a spread that's going to happen no matter what. But hey, we don't want to take politicians and government health officials, everyone, they don't want to take liability, so they make impossible standards that we can't meet. That would only be 61,000 a year. That only gets us to 305,000 total. So, that's nothing that was predicted. That just doesn't make sense. And it's an impossible standard that will keep us in the purple tier forever. I mean, there's really no way to get out of that. And, no, man. Oh, spreadsheet. Okay. So there's really no way to get out of that. San Diego is, a little bit more people, but they're doing a little bit better. Their current actual cases, around 140,000 per year would be kind of an estimate, and then that goes up. But their case limit would be 85,000 per year, or 231 per day, based on that 3.3 million population. So again, pretty much never getting out of the purple tier. They're going to stay in it. LA County is even worse. They can have 700 people a day based on that 10 million figure, but that would only limit them to 255,000 a year, and the current number is like 620. And to get to that 50%, we're talking 5 million. So yeah, it's just hopefully these numbers make sense, and we're never gonna get out of the purple tier with the limitation that they're putting on, basically impossible standards. So so Worldometer or Worldometer is nice. I've been looking at that so much initially and not as much anymore, but that's a good really good snapshot of seeing the total number of cases and deaths and recovers and everything like that. So yeah, we've been on kind of an upward trend lately, but that is going to happen as something spreads like this until the vaccine kind of comes out. But it's also it's also twice as bad as the seasonal flu. So does it really justify a shutdown like this that they're trying to do, especially in California? On this COVID-19.ca.gov, hey, we can look at what activities we can do. Let's see, Riverside County. What can I go out and do and enjoy my life? Amusement parks? Nope. Closed. Gyms. Fitness centers. Outdoors. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. let's see, it's either really hot in California or it's raining, possibly in the winter, and cold, and just, yeah. Day camps. Good. Open with modifications. All right. Well, Rock Fitness is we're just running day camps. Okay. Um, Other deaths, communicable disease 11,000, so this I imagine has a lot of the COVID deaths in there, but then just a lot of other diseases too. Maybe we should test for all those. Test for the seasonal flu too. I mean, if it's 7 per day for COVID, the same logic would say that if there's more than 15 per 100,000 deaths per day with the seasonal flu, we should shut everything down as well. Abortions, 37 million. That's pretty much the highest death rate on of anything, and guess there's nothing we can do about that one, huh? Cancer is pretty high up there, but this just gives you an idea. Just other death rate, things. Alcohol. So alcohol and suicide. Well, those are all been going up a lot lately with COVID and the shutdowns. In fact, suicide has been increasing. 1 to 145%. It's kind of hard to tell exactly, but from what we're seeing, the numbers are actually a lot higher than it looks, and we're not really going to probably see those numbers till kind of next year for this year. But the sad thing is, I don't even know anybody personally who died from COVID. I've heard friends of friends and stuff, and I know obviously a lot of people have died. I'm not, it's not I don't think it's a conspiracy or anything. But I do have a friend of mine that committed suicide. In fact, he was a vet and a veteran, and kind of had a little bit of PTSD, but was just very affected by not being able to live his life and enjoy it like he used to. And we even got kind of the same. Well, he got that shirt at Rock Fitness. So he was found in his closet a few weeks ago. Committed suicide, and 4 people out of 36 in his platoon committed suicide since COVID happened. So I'll put a link to this GoFundMe. It would be great if people could support his wife and kids. And then we have our heroes, like Governor Newsom, who apologized for not for going to a restaurant, going out to eat for a birthday party. He apologized that he didn't set a good example, and it's like, yeah. Face criticism for that, I guess. And then Fauci is saying, do what you're told. Who cares about your rights and freedom and what you want to do? Do what you're told. That is the time for it. That's where we're at now. Just pretty ridiculous. Just complete violation of our rights and freedoms and stuff. But that's where we're headed as a litigious society. Everybody cares about liability and wants to sue everybody else, and so now you have governments and politicians making standards that we cannot meet. So it's not their fault. Hey, if everything fails and everybody goes out of business and more deaths from alcohol and suicide and whatever, it's not their fault. We didn't listen to what we were supposed to do. Mainly deaths from COVID in this case, too. I just saw this, and I wasn't looking for anything on Biden, but shifting blame. Yep, more people may die because of Trump's transition delays. It's like, okay, yeah, blame somebody else. So in case COVID gets worse, hey, now we can blame Trump. And the problem is, you have a lot of people a lot of saggy testicle individuals making laws and making rules, worried about themselves. They don't want everybody else spreading this, and then they're going to get sick and they're high risk. So hey, shut down everybody else. Nobody can do anything to protect them. So when was the last biggest government shutdown of businesses? Well, it was China in 1959, and it killed 20 to 40 million people because China decided to shut down some farming, 15 to 30%, killed 20 to 40 million people. Those numbers are a little bit widespread because as we've kind of, actually 15 to 55 million, there we go. uh, in like a couple year period, and that the spread on those numbers, as we know, it's hard to get accurate numbers from China, so that's why. But it looks like it's kind of in the higher 40, 50 million range. Um, but that's what happens when governments shut down businesses. You don't know what affects this case. It was starvation. In our case, it's suicide, alcohol, depression, all kinds of things related to this that are horrible. I mean, 4 out of 36 people in this platoon committing suicide. That sounds like a pandemic to me. That's a lot more than 0.2%. Um, so and the vaccine, okay, I think it'll give people a sense of reassurance to get back to normal life, kind of like the normal flu. There's a vaccine for that, so it's not like rampant, killing everybody. It's still 0.1%, and a lot of people get it. But that's what this is. It's going to have to be taken all the time. Probably every 6 months to a year. And one issue is, though, only 50% of people are probably going to take it. So are more rights going to be violated trying to force people to take this vaccine? That number, if it is a very effective vaccine, is probably enough to really slow the spread. So it's probably kind of okay. But the main thing is people need to get back to their lives. I mean, my grandma recently was talking to me, and she was like, "I wish I would have died a couple years ago to not be a witness and live in a society like this." That just doesn't even just shuts down, and our heroes now are on couches at home not doing anything. That's what we've come to. Just like the great William Wallace, right, who said, "Everybody dies, but few truly live." So yeah, I guess we've forgotten about actual heroes and people like that. And yes, there is a time if this was a like 2 to 5% fatality rate, just really high like that, then yeah, drastic measures need to be taken. But either way, we haven't even seen any results from businesses being closed. Now you can't live healthy and go to the gym and work out and enjoy your life and not be depressed. So everybody else gathers at Costco and goes and get their groceries, and now they're all sickly and unhealthy. What's going to get you infected more and cause more deaths? Everybody gathering anyway and packing into Costco, or everybody living life like normally, going to businesses, going to gyms, working out, and being healthy and focusing on that and protecting the sick and elderly. So that's where we're at now, and things need to change dramatically. Or I would recommend trying to enjoy whatever businesses you can, because the businesses that are shut down, in the purple tier, when we look at what's open in the purple tier, well, hair salons and barbershops are open a little bit again. They changed that, so that's nice because that was kind of ridiculous. But museums, zoos, aquariums, outdoors. Okay, yeah, let's move our let's move our museum outdoors, and let's move our gyms outdoors and our churches outdoors. Uh, um, so I recommend enjoying, going to the businesses that are trying to stay open and still open, and enjoying them while they're still in business. Because at this rate, all of these businesses that are shut down or forced to go outdoors are going to be out of business in the next few months or a couple years. And this just does not make sense, as we're going to see more people having alcohol abuse, domestic abuse, suicide rates just skyrocketing. And that's just going to continue to happen while we have a bad flu out there that's shutting everything down, because the government says to do what you're told. So please like and subscribe and share this with everybody. We need to get the word out there. Business owners, just open your business. Who cares? We need to be open. And everyone else, go enjoy life, get back to businesses, be safe, social distance, wear face masks. That's fine. Like, I don't want to lose customers and people because being really anti-mask or something. I don't think it really does a lot, but I wear it. I wear masks, and when I go in places that require them, and but I'm also not scared of something that's twice as deadly as the normal flu. So I'm not going to change my life and not do anything. I mean, sadly, I love to travel, and I can't really do that right now. But I'm going to enjoy other stuff and do what I can to stay sane and healthy. So um, please share this, get the word out, to change, before it's too late. We need a big change right now, and we will see this tier system change. I think because it'll be forced to change because people will realize that it's hopefully realize that it's ridiculous, and we will stay in the purple tier forever in California, unlike all the other states who are pretty much back to normal, and Sweden, countries like Sweden who've always been normal and it didn't shut anything down. If we go to the countries, Sweden is way down here, 20, 38. They're doing pretty good, and they've just been safe and social distancing, face masks, but not shutting businesses down and schools. Kids aren't even barely affected by this, and it's asymptomatic, and people that aren't affected aren't spreading it. So why are schools shut down? Yeah, it's very confusing, and just doesn't make sense. But things need to change. So please share this and get the word out there to bring a change and keep businesses open, reopen them, and go to businesses, live your lives. Thanks, and see you next time.